tonight to talk to you about how to make your very own elderberry syrup. Now is the time, if you are in a place where elderberries, black elderberries grow, now is the time to be harvesting them. And it's always amazing to me how things like elderberries, this amazing plant ally, come to us when we need it the most. So now going into transitioning from summer into fall is a great time to really work on boosting your immune system. We start being inside more, and kids are back in school, and sinus infections and flus and coronavirus are much easier to spread. So elderberry is a great, amazing plant ally to help fortify your system. And then if you do get sick, study after study after study has shown how much elderberry reduces the duration of an infection. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce you to the supplies that I have. I have a dry measuring cup, liquid measuring cup, microplaner, big pot, some jars, narrow mouth funnel, strainer, cinnamon sticks. The ingredients are cinnamon sticks, cloves, local honey. The more local your honey can be, the better it will be for you. And I am using dried elderberry snipe because I made pie with the fresh elderberries that I picked. So dried elderberries they're so much easier to work with than fresh elderberries, but it's pretty cool when you can go out into your own garden or do some wild harvesting and find wild elderberries. So I like to buy any herbs that I buy or herbal products that I buy online. I like to buy them from Mountain Rose Herbs. They're an amazing company that have really fair and reasonable prices. They take really good care of their employees, they take really good care of their products, everything is top notch, there's a lot of quality control, and with that, they're processing and bagging things by hand, so it does take longer. It's worth the wait, and you absolutely get what you paid for with Mountain Rose Herb. A couple other tools that I have are a chopstick and a pencil, and I will show you why in a minute. Alright, so making your elderberry syrup, I will post the recipe, but here is 3.5 cups of water, 2/3 cups dried elderberries, for this ratio I use 3 cloves. Cloves have really strong flavor and potency. If you like cloves, you can add some more. And then I like to use cinnamon sticks. You can use ground cinnamon as well. With a cinnamon stick, I just use half. So I broke this cinnamon stick in half, and then I broke in half again. So I'll put in 2 pieces of it. And then I like to use fresh ginger. I love the taste of it, and I think that it has more of all the medicinal benefits it has. And I like to grate it with a microplaner right over the pot. And this is organic ginger, so I'm just going to use the peel even too. And this piece that's about an inch long will yield about a tablespoon, give or take. This is a folk recipe, so all the measurements are approximations, and yeah, you can kind of wing it a little bit, tweak it like however you like. So it's gonna microplane that all into there. And I am going to start out, I'm going to get this to a boil, and then once it gets to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer, and I will put the lid mostly on. I want to leave some space for the steam to escape. And then the reason why we have the chopstick and the pencil is because you want to reduce this by half. And it's really hard to tell, like, it's about there. So what I do is I put my chopstick into the pot. I use my finger to kind of indicate where, and then I make a little line with the pencil. And that way, when I come back in about an hour, 2 hours, I can look and see on my chopstick. All right, so I have my chopstick with the measuring, and I see that it is reduced by half. So now I want to strain out the liquid. So I have my strainer, put it onto a smaller pot. This can be any kind of vessel. It can be a large measuring cup, something that's easy to pour out of. Let it all drip out. So some people say to compost this. I will tell you a bonus of what to do with it next. So now I just have my elderberry decoction, kind of like a tea, except that it simmered in with the herb for quite a while. So this is has cooled off quite a bit. So now I'm going to add my honey. My honey had crystallized a little bit, and so adding it to the warm elderberry liquid will actually help dissolve it and help it be able to mix together. You want to be careful not to put the honey in when your liquid is too hot, because then you can kill those tender but super valuable properties of the honey that add to our well-being. So we're going to get the honey out of here. All right, after you get the honey dissolved into your elderberry liquid, now you have syrup. And now you want to store it. So I like to use a growler when I'm first doing it, and then maybe I will pour it off into smaller bottles to give away, or I actually do sell this. Or maybe you want to pour it off to give gifts, and these amber medicine bottles are fantastic. Regardless, having a narrow mouth funnel will help you so much. I spent years pouring things, doing cannings without funnels, and now I just can't imagine life without them. In it goes. So this mixture with this amount of honey in there is sort of shelf stable, maybe for a week or two, to leave it out. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's lasted me a good 6 to 9 months. If it kind of gets tucked in the back and forgotten about. You can also measure out how much liquid you have there, and then add half as much of some 40% ABV or 80 proof alcohol. I like brandy. Brandy goes well with elderberry. So this should be, if we started out with 3.5 cups of liquid, it should be down to 1 2/3, then we added a cup of honey, so around 3 cups of liquid. So then I would add 1.5 cups of brandy, and then it becomes really shelf stable. Changes the taste a lot, so that is up to you. Okay, so here I have the strained off elderberries, and they still smell so pungent to me that it feels like a waste to just throw them away. So I had this idea last winter, understanding that water extracts a certain kind of constituents from plant parts. Alcohol extracts a different kind. So I thought, why not make elderberry alcohol? So here I have my wide mouth funnel, which is fantastic for this situation. I'm just going to plop everything in there. The cinnamon sticks and cloves too. And then I I'm just going to fill that up the rest of the way with brandy. I haven't done any research, nor have I read any studies about what kind of health benefits there are from elderberry infused with alcohol, what kind of constituents and health benefits come from that. I will say it tastes delicious, especially when you take this elderberry infused brandy, pour it off in about a month and a half to 2 months, so strain the elderberries out of there again, and then measure the amount of liquid. So if this is 4 cups, then I would add a cup or 2 of honey to make an elderberry liqueur. And this is so fantastic on those cold, late winter days when you just come in from a walk or a day of skiing, to just have a little nip of elderberry liqueur. Just warms you right up. Fantastic. As with everything, label, label, label. You might think you will remember when you made it, and maybe you have a really good memory, but I love blue painter's tape and a Sharpie. I like this because it doesn't leave residual goo on the jars. So I put the date, and what it is. Some people will put other things like where the elderberries come from, what kind of brandy it is, where they got the honey, because you want to label your syrup also. The more information that you have on there, the better it will be to repeat what worked well or change things that didn't work well. So label, label, label. And I wish you an abundance of health. Good night.